everybody, welcome to today's lesson. My name is Sally-Ann Spence and we've got a really exciting lesson for you today. We are here at the Severnside Energy Recovery Centre, managed by SUEZ for the West London Waste Authority. And we've got a lot planned for you. But before that, let's have a quick look at the lesson objectives that we've got. We're going to see how waste is transported around the country. We're going to be learning what happens when rubbish arrives at the centre. We're going to understand the combustion triangle. We're going to discover how metals are sorted. And we're going to find out how rubbish is turned into energy. Now, don't forget to take part in the lesson today as much as possible. So you can tweet in your photographs as you're watching us in your classrooms or at home. And you can also take part in our polls and also our word clouds on Slido. Hopefully you've all got your worksheets printed out, and I want you to take part throughout the lesson by filling them in as we carry on. Now we're going to take part in a word cloud. I'm here now with Siobhan. Hello Siobhan.
Hello Sally-Ann.
Now what do you do here?
So I'm a community liaison manager for SUEZ. So I'm working with the public trying to explain our waste hierarchy.
The waste hierarchy. We're going to be learning a little bit more about that because it's going to be on your worksheet, so we'll look at that in a minute. But right behind me now are these great big yellow crane things. What's going on over here?
So there are crane gantries. So here, once a day, every day, we get a train from West London that collects all 6 boroughs worth of waste and it's delivered here to our facility in Bristol.
So when people are at home, and I've got bins at home as well, so we've got all these waste bins. Do you take all our rubbish?
No, so here we're only taking the waste that's left over after that recycling is taken out. So could be described as a black bin waste. So that's anything that's left over once you've taken out that recycling.
All right, okay. So we're going to look now at your worksheets, and you've got a hierarchy of waste. Can you tell us what prevent means right at the top there?
Yeah, so at the top we need to write in prevent, and that's because what's most important to the environment is actually reducing the amount of waste we have, so trying to prevent it altogether. Now the next one down is reusing, and Sally-Ann, I see there you've got something.
I have, I've got my reusable coffee cup. Is this good, is it?
This is brilliant for the environment because we're able to wash it up and take it again. We can get these in many different forms, including our water bottles, and that's better than having to continually choose something else and consume more things.
So could the children then at home and at school, could they actually swap some of the things they're using then, so they don't need to keep throwing things away?
That's it, and that's exactly what we're trying to promote here at SUEZ. We're trying to promote preventing that waste, but if we can't prevent it, then we could reuse things instead. Now, the next one down on our waste hierarchy is actually recycling. And here, Sally-Ann, I've got some recycling, some things that are used in recycling. Now, depending on where you live in the country, that does change. So you will have to look at what you have from your local authority. But these are things that are widely recyclable.
Can I have a look, see what we've got? Right, so we've got a glass bottle here. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, plastic.
Yeah, so we've got bottles and tubs and trays.
Chocolate fingers.
Yeah, so we've taken out that plastic and the soft plastic from inside it, and that's just the cardboard because we want to have things loose from each other.
Right, okay, so all the things that the biscuits came in, the actual plastic bits has been removed from there.
And the food. I ate those.
And then we've got paper and a tin.
That's right.
Washed out as well.
That's it. So we're looking for them to be clean, loose and dry.
Right, okay, we've got some bit more paper. That doesn't surprise me. Oh, it's going to blow away. I'm going to hold the paper. There we are, we'll hold the paper so we don't litter. That's quite important. And we've also got cardboard.
Yes, that's right. So we've got that corrugated type cardboard, but also that packing type cardboard. They're all widely recyclable, but please check with your local authorities to see what you collect and how you collect it at your curbside. Because it might be in 2 bins like you, Sally Ann, but it could also be in a whole different range of bins, bags, collected weekly, bi-weekly, all sorts of different arrangements.
So can you take all the recyclable waste here?
No, so we're not collecting this waste here. We're collecting that stuff that's left over after you've taken out all of that recycling, that black bin type waste.
So what does recycling actually mean then in that case?
So recycling is where you're taking certain types of materials to go off and be turned into something else. So we're collecting lots of plastic together to then be turned into other plastic items. Now we do some recycling here with our end products, but that's not our main purpose here. And I think you need to go and visit Dan up on our crane gantry to go and find out more.
I think that sounds like a brilliant idea. Let's go and do that right now. Wow, that is some way up here. Let's have a look, see. Oops, all through these gates. Here's the door, we're going through the door. Hello, who have I got here? Hello, this is Dan.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, Dan. Now, Dan, what are you doing up here? I mean, first start, how high am I? Because I've just climbed up all these stairs.
Well, we're currently around 12 metres high at the moment.
So I've just climbed up 12 metres to be up here with Dan. Right, Dan, so tell me, what do you do? What are you doing in here?
So I am a shift op. My role here is to basically control the train and the rubbish that comes in from London. So what we do here is we have a train come from London full of rubbish, usually around 78 20-foot containers, about 1,000 tonnes worth of rubbish.
1,000 tonnes of rubbish?
1,000 tonnes of a lot of rubbish.
Wow.
And then it's our job to take the rubbish off the train, place it here.
How do you do that?
So it's controlled by this gantry crane.
Come on then, show me how you work it.
So as you can see behind me, there's a spreader, and this spreader basically operates with 4 locking pins.
Okay.
And then the goal of the spreader is to sit on top of a container, lock the pins, and then lift.
So it goes down and it grabs hold of the container basically, and then can lift it off the train.
Off the train.
And then move it.
And then move it. So we lift from the train, and then you might be able to see below us, we lift onto the floor. The capacity, we lift around 20 tonne at a time, and it's all done by these 2 joysticks.
You look like you're in a gaming chair.
I'm enjoying myself.
Is this a good job?
It's a good job.
You enjoy this job?
It's a very
I'm not
relaxing job.
surprised.
Yes.
You've just got quite a big climb to work in them every time.
Yes, 100%. So it's basically operated with 2 joysticks. This is up, down, left, right, and then they have 2 locking pins. And it's basically, once the spreader is on top of a container, it's basically lock, and then this rises up to be able to lift, and then you maneuver back and forward, and then back down to drop, and then release again.
So have we got a train due today then?
Yes, we do, yes. Actually, we have one in a couple of minutes. If you want to look out the window to my right, you should be able to see it any moment now.
Let's have a look. This is it's down there. The train has literally just come in. I can see it reversing. It's shunting all the containers back here. Oh my goodness. How exciting. So all this rubbish has come in by train from London, and it's not the only way that rubbish goes into the facility here. Dan, how else does the rubbish get here?
The rubbish does actually also come through road. In order to know a little bit more about that, you're probably best off speaking to Will.
Right, well, I think we'll go and find Will, because I think, Dan, you're going to be really busy now.
Very busy, yes.
Well, thank you for talking to us, and good luck unloading this huge train.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're going to be up here for a few hours.
Very few hours, yes.
Well, let's go and find Will now. Let's go and meet Will now. This is Will. Hello.
Hello.
Now, what's your role here at SUEZ?
I'm the service delivery manager for SUEZ in Bristol, so that means I look after all our collections within the Bristol area, commercial collections in Bristol.
Well, this is an amazing lorry. Look at this huge bin lorry. So tell us a little bit about it. What have you got in your hand there?
So I've got an electric charge cable because this is actually our first electric RCV.
Oh, hang on a minute, Will. What is an RCV? What is that?
RCV means refuse collection vehicle.
Refuge collection vehicle. So that's what this is. Right, okay.
So we use the power from the plant, that's generated from the rubbish that we collect, to power our lorry. So it keeps all that electricity in the same cycle.
So all the electricity being powered or made here from all the waste is used to power this lorry that goes round Bristol City.
To collect more rubbish, to keep feeding the plant.
Wow. And tell me, why have you changed to electricity and not a diesel lorry?
Because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do for the environment. We can't continue to use fossil fuels, and so this is the future. Our Bristol city centre is nice and dense, so it really works with the electric vehicle.
So if you're ever in Bristol, look out for this lorry, and I think they're going to be happening all over the UK, isn't it? So what are you going to do here then?
So I'm going to plug us in so that we're ready to go for the next day.
Okay, so we're having to charge the lorry up now, and we have to do that by Will putting this into the lorry here. Can we have a look round the lorry? It's a massive lorry. Let's have a look and see what we've got. So this is the business end, isn't it?
This is where we tip the bins.
Right. So this is our business end here. Let's have a look. What happens? Can you talk us through it?
So the guys will go and collect the bins. They'll pull them up to the lifting gear, and then they'll use the operating controls to tip the bins into the back of the lorry, and the lorry will cycle it through and compact it through the day.
And how many tonnes, do you know this? Well, I'm putting you on the spot here. How many tonnes do you think of rubbish can actually be in the lorry?
We can collect about 10 tonnes worth of rubbish a day.
10 tonnes of rubbish a day. That's quite a lot of rubbish.
It's a lot of rubbish, and that is doing that every single day, and that is one of a number of vehicles that we have within Bristol doing that. So people produce a lot of rubbish.
They do, and there's some huge rams at the back here, so this is producing quite a lot of power down on to pack that rubbish in.
Working really hard to collect all day. It's constantly running, it's constantly happening, and it's all electric back end as well, so it's all running off the energy that we're producing from the plant as well.
And it goes out into the city and then it comes back here. Does it have to come back many times throughout the day?
We just do once a day, so we collect about 10 tonnes a day, comes back here, tips off, and then parks up and charges.
Wow. Now, this is a big lorry. Can I ask you how heavy the whole lorry is?
So the whole lorry is 27 tonnes in total.
27 tonnes? That's a huge lorry. Wow. Do you think I can have a go in it?
Of course you can. If you walk round here and you hop in the passenger, Alan will take you for a drive.
So Alan's my driver. I'll go and say hello to Alan. Thank you, Will. Hello, Alan.
Hello, Sally Ann.
How are you?
Thank you.
Can I come in the lorry with you? Oh, I'll step up here. It's quite high up. Golly. Get all the way up to the top here. Thank you, Alan.
That's all right, Sally Ann.
That was brilliant. Thank you very much.
Hi. Did you enjoy your experience with Alan?
That was incredible. It was great fun in the lorry.
Now's your time to go and see the next part of the journey with Pos upstairs.
Brilliant. Well, before I go upstairs, we've got a question for you right now. The waste coming in here, 400,000 tonnes of waste coming in here. Can you imagine how much energy that produces and how many homes it could supply with electricity? Well done for all of you for taking part in the last Slido. The answer was D, which is 60,000 homes. So all those homes are supplied by electricity from here. That's amazing, isn't it? And with me now is Pos, because we've just dumped all that rubbish right down the bottom here from Will's lorry. And this area here, Pos, what's this called?
So this is the bunker, Sally-Ann.
This is a bunker. Now, Pos, where am I right now?
So you're in the control room, and we're currently at the grab crane chairs overlooking the bunker, where we have our grabs that move waste in and out of the facility.
Oh, and how do you, is this a chair you operate them?
Absolutely. So this is one of the chairs we can override them.
Sitting in the control chair here. Oh, let's have a look. Okay, tell us a little bit about how you operate these grabs and why are they doing this? They look a little bit like the things you see on seasides where they try and pick something up and it doesn't grab it very well, but these are grabbing loads.
Absolutely, very similar, but they're working with waste. So because waste is made of so many various components, we need to make sure it's as even as possible before we feed it into the furnaces for the incineration. So what the grabs do is they take the waste from the bays, put it into the middle and give it a good mix up before we feed it into the main part of the plant.
Okay, and you can control them from a chair like this? Well, this chair?
Absolutely. So 90% of the time it's controlled by the computers, but whenever an operator needs to override it, you can move to the chair and these two levers by either side of you will help to lift the grab, move it from left to right and also open and close the claw as well.
So you're mixing it all up and we've got a screen over here. Can you see the screen over here with all these colours on? What is this showing us?
So this is quite an important screen because it shows the temperatures. It's a lot like infrared vision. It shows the temperature in the pit and we want to make sure that there's no risk of anything catching on fire there. It's important to recycle components such as batteries and other aspects like that because if they're damaged, they can heat up quite a lot and lead to fires in the bunker.
Okay, so when we talk about things we shouldn't put in the rubbish necessarily, what sort of things do you not want to not appear here in your bunker?
Well, there are things like large items like metals that can be easily recycled. Batteries is another one that we see a lot of, even in things such as small as your birthday cards with music and things like that.
I haven't thought about that. Batteries inside a birthday card. So if you open up the birthday card and it makes music, there's a battery, isn't there?
Absolutely. So if it goes into the waste, eventually it'll find its way here. We prefer for that to be recycled.
Right, okay. So once it's got all the rubbish mixed up, it's picking it up and it's taking it right over here. I can see one just unloading it right now. What happens to it next?
So that's when it drops it into the hopper and it gets fed down into the furnace. And if you speak to Martin next, he can tell you a little bit more about it.
Right, well we better go and find Martin where the furnace is. Now the furnace is going to be really hot. I want you to think about how hot that furnace might actually be. Did you all get it right? The answer was A, which is 1,000 degrees, so really, really hot. And with me now is Martin. Hi, Martin.
Hi.
Now, Martin, what are you doing here?
My job role within the plant here is just to monitor the whole system all the way through. So monitoring from the waste here as it goes sort of through the furnace area and then as it comes off the end, sort of ash. But yeah, pretty much the whole system throughout the whole thing.
So we've got cameras everywhere,
yeah,
and including in the furnace over there.
Yeah, so mainly the furnace here. So I can watch here and we can sort of look where our fire line and our positions are so we can see and hopefully get the best combustion from the fire.
So we've all been learning about burning, haven't we? Or we're about to be learning if you haven't already. Martin, what do we need to make a fire?
To make fire, we need three things, which is heat, fuel and oxygen.
Right.
Our fuel here is our waste. So this is our fuel, which is what we burn.
Right, so all the rubbish coming in here is going into that bunker. We saw it being tipped off with Will in the lorry, and it's now in the bunker, then going across into the furnace. Yeah. And you're burning it there. So where are you getting your oxygen from?
The oxygen that we use for our furnace, we actually take it from the top of the tipping hall bunker. The reason why we take it from the top is because we use the air that's within this area, because it's quite smelly, it helps us with the odours. So yeah, we use the air from the tipping hole.
Okay, so that's the fuel, you've got your oxygen as well, and it's producing an awful lot of heat.
Yes. So the heat, we maintain the heat purely through the amount of waste that we put in and the amount of oxygen and air that we force in as well. So by putting in the both, we can maintain that temperature for as long as we can.
Now when the rubbish comes in looking like that,
Yes.
it's in your furnace and it's starting to look very different.
Yes.
What's happening to it there that's making it look so different?
As it's burning away now, it's turning to ash. There are other sort of metals and other sort of matters within that, but they go through, once they come off of the system, it will then move over to the next stage at ballast.
Golly, well we've still got quite a journey to go, so we'll carry on with our journey, but I want you to think about one big question. All this heat being produced in this furnace, what do you think it's being used for? Well done to everyone for taking part in our last Slido. The answer was B, which is to generate superheated steam. Well, now I'm here with Tom, and Tom, we've got some huge piles behind us. What on earth is all of this?
These are our aggregate piles.
They look like ash.
That is correct, they're all sorted ash. These are known as aggregate and they get used in underfloor road use.
So that's what's going on here?
That's what's going on here, yes.
But they're all different sizes. Why have we got different sizes?
We got different sizes because we try to maximise grabbing any metal within the burnt ash coming from the furnace.
So how do you grab the metal then in that case?
Using magnets and negative charge as well.
Right, so you are grabbing things with the magnets, would be something
Yep.
like a ferrous metal?
That is correct, yes.
So that's your irons and metal like that, okay. What about something like my silver ring?
That's using the negative charge. That's using positive and negative magnets, spinning them at a very vast speed and using that charge to push the non-ferrous materials into a different chute and separating them.
So everything that's going on here is just being sorted, is
That is correct.
all coming in as the rubbish
Yep.
that's been through the furnace,
Yep.
and now you're sorting it all out into the different sizes.
That's it, yes. We're trying to maximise grabbing any metals within the material and leaving left any aggregates afterwards.
We've got all these big piles of different sizes aggregates, we've got the metals and everything else. What else is produced from this process?
Well, when you go and see Krishna, he'll tell you more.
All right, well, we'll go and see Krishna in a minute, but first I want you to put your thinking caps on because it's now time for you to have a go at another multiple choice. Good luck. Thank you for all your answers. The correct answer was A, which is magnetic. Now we've seen the rubbish being dumped in the bunker and we've seen the furnace burning it. It actually produces lots of flue gases too. So to find out a little bit more about them, we're here now with Krishna. Hi Krishna.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And you. Now can you tell us about the flue gases and what your job here is?
Yes, so my main job on this site is to really look at all the equipment, make sure everything's running exactly as it should be. Now, part of that's also monitoring the flue gases, like you've said.
So how are you treating the flue gases?
So what we have in the process, we add 3 main chemicals.
Okay, can you tell us which 3 those are?
Yeah, so one of them is ammonia.
So one's ammonia.
And what that does is it reacts with what we call NOx, oxides of nitrogen.
Okay, so that's one, ammonia. What's the second one?
So what we also add is lime.
Lime. And what does lime do?
Yeah, so that reacts with any of the acid gases. So things like SO2 or HCl.
Right, and what about the third one?
So the third one is activated carbon. Now, rather than a direct reaction itself, what this does is it acts like a sponge and it absorbs any, let's say, heavy metal particles.
Okay, all right. And so how do you monitor the emissions from these flue gases?
So, good question. What we have is on the two main chimneys, there's a lot of sensors, a lot of different sensors that feed back all into this control room. So what we get is the two screens behind you where they've got real-time indication.
Look at all these computer screens. So this is how you're monitoring everything from those sensors.
Exactly. So that's how we make sure everything's kept well below the limits.
And this facility, it generates electricity, is that right?
Exactly, yeah. That's a big part of it.
So how would I find out more about that?
So you can go see our next person in the turbine hall.
Right, well I think we ought to continue our journey, but before I do that, it's time for you to take part in a Slido. It is so noisy in the turbine room that I've actually not been able to go in there because you'd never hear me speak at all. But we have sent our cameraman in with ear defenders so you can have a look around. Now with me here is Sam. Hello Sam.
Hi Sally.
Now Sam, what do you do here?
So I'm electrical maintenance here, so I look after all the electrical equipment on site there.
So you're very busy in the turbine room then?
Always busy in the turbine room, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in there?
So earlier you saw the furnace. So that steam that's produced in the furnace is superheated steam. So that gets transferred from the furnace over to the steam turbine there, and that's spun then really fastly using that heat energy, transferring it into kinetic energy, and that then generates electricity that we send off to power the homes.
So when we think about kinetic energy, we're thinking about energy that's made by something moving. So think of something like a wind turbine that is moving. So you're going to be doing that. And all that electricity you're producing is from this turbine. How big is the turbine?
Oh, the turbine, about 4 meters, is as wide as this doorway.
As wide as this doorway, so it's really, really big. Yeah. And you're producing how much electricity in there?
So we produce enough for 60,000 homes.
60,000 homes, and also, I think for Will's lorry that I went in earlier, that was it, because we plugged in the lorry, do you remember? And then we were able to drive in it when it's charged with electricity.
Yep, that's it.
So all the waste that's being burnt here is busily producing electricity that can be used in people's homes and on their vehicles.
Yep.
That's a lot of electricity.
A lot of electricity.
So as an electrician, you're a very busy person in here.
Always busy, yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Sam. No problem. Now it's time for us to get ready for our questions. But before we do that, I want you to think about the favourite things that you have seen today, because we have seen an awful lot here. You have given some really good answers. I certainly had some favourite times today. I love seeing the train come in and the crane taking all those containers off the railway. And I also loved the grabber, that was fantastic. And the lorry, there was so much we did. But we're going to start our questions now. But first of all, I need to introduce you to someone new you haven't met yet. This is Stephen. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, I'm the plant manager of this site. Was here from the very start, so when it was a muddy field, I helped build all the stuff and get it to where it is now.
So you're very busy as well then. We've met so many busy people here.
Yeah, extremely busy.
Well, how many people actually work here?
I'll hand that over to Anjay.
Yeah, so we've got 57 total staff on the site that work here at the moment.
So what kind of jobs are they all doing?
So you've got a mix of operations jobs, the people who run the plants, and then we've got maintenance who fix anything that breaks down, as well as the management, including myself and Steve, and the administration staff who run the office as well.
So lots of things going on then, all around the site, because we saw everybody doing all these different roles, from an electrician to, right away, all the way across the site.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's lots of things going on in the news about landfilling. Okay, what does the facility here do to address that?
This facility here is dealing with that black bin bag waste, that waste that can't be recycled, and it's the alternative to landfilling. So when we're landfilling, we're digging a big hole in the ground, filling it full of rubbish, and then covering it back up, and you have to continue to treat it for a very long time. Here we're collecting in that rubbish, as you've seen, generating electricity from it. So we're that other option. So earlier on we looked at your worksheet, and at the top we had preventing that rubbish, then we had reusing, recycling. We're the next one, we're recovery, and then at the very bottom we've got disposal, and we could describe that as landfilling.
Now you see, I thought it was going to be really smelly here today, I must admit, when I walked in, because sometimes you can smell things around landfills and things like that, and I really thought it was going to be smelly, but it wasn't that smelly at all. Why is that? How do you stop the smells?
Well, because what we do, we use like a big vacuum cleaner. We suck all the air out from the main area where all the waste is deposited, and then we use that as a combustion process. But we also put some deodorizers in there as well to control the smell. So it is a very clean and hopefully, non-smelly site.
Yeah, it was amazing. I really thought it would be a little bit swelly because you've got all that rubbish coming in as well. Because we had the rubbish coming in by the train as well as the lorries. How many trains and lorries do you have every day here?
So we get one train every day, and it's got a large amount of tonnage, got about 1,000 tons on it, that train. But we also get 25 lorries from the local area that come in through the Weybridge every day.
Every day. And that includes our electric lorry that Will was driving?
That does indeed, yeah.
So are you going to have any more lorries for Will, other lorries like Will's lorry, electric lorries?
Yeah, we plan on doing. We also have a vehicle that we use for maintenance. At the moment, we're looking at changing that to electric vehicle as well. So the more that we can integrate the electric vehicles on the site, the better it is and the greener the environment.
So we're going to have electric car points and everything as well?
Yeah.
So try and get everything as much electric as you can from what you're producing from the waste that's coming in as well.
Yes.
As well as all those homes.
Yeah.
Loads of homes. So if somebody wants to work here, so if you want to come and have a job at somewhere like SUEZ, what would you need to do? How's the journey you're going to go on? Do you go to university? Can you do apprenticeships? How can you get here?
We do apprenticeships. Sam that you met around, he was an apprentice on this site. And we've got another apprentice in administration at the moment. We do take people on that've got the degree like Krishna, who you met, but also it's all on about the desire as well, mainly. SUEZ are very, very good at training people. So as long as you've got the desire to learn, we take people on and then move them up in the business.
I see. Well, we met Sam earlier on, didn't we, in the turbine room? Well, this is actually Sam's dad. So Stephen's actually Sam's dad, and Sam came here on an apprentice as well, didn't he, when he was about 18? Yeah. So,
and he really enjoys it as well.
Yeah, he said he loves his job, so that's fantastic. Which actually brings us round to, do you like your jobs? What do you like most about your jobs that you have here?
Well, for me, it's seeing the development of the people. As you say, we take people on at different levels and then move them on within the business. I've sort of taken people on as a management team and they've moved on in with the business, but also internally on this site. We have seen them grow, become shift managers, become senior ops techs, maintenance people as well. So, I mean, that's what's good for me, is just seeing that development.
Well, I just love talking to people and educating people, because we want to make, SUEZ want to make the world a better place. We have a desire to continue to support people on their journey from moving away from that landfill and contributing to net zero. So that's what I really enjoy about my job.
Excellent. And for myself, it's really the team spirit. You've probably seen from talking to the people today that everyone's really happy here as a place to work. It's almost like a large family on site here, so it's a great place to work.
Brilliant. Well, and this isn't the only facility that SUEZ has in the UK, is it? There's some more as well.
Yeah, there's 11 sites that we have of energy sites dotted all around the UK. So putting the waste to good use and producing that electricity to, sort of power homes as well.
But we also have those collections and HWRCs as well, all across the country. So depending on where you guys live, you might see that SUEZ brand on all sorts of different trucks and bins and things.
Well, talking about bins, people are putting rubbish in their bins. What shouldn't they be putting in their bins?
Well,
what don't you want to see end up here?
Well, we touched a little bit earlier on, Sally-Ann, about batteries as one of the key things. So we have specialist battery recycling facilities, and there are battery collection points. If you go to your local supermarket or something like that, you can drop your batteries off there. But also things like metals, large pieces of metal items that can go and be normally recycled are great to get rid of your waste.
Yeah, and what happens to the metals? We saw the metals coming out earlier on. What will happen to all those metals?
So they actually get sold right back into the metals market. So they go to one of our metals cleaning recycling facilities to get washed off, and then it'll get sold into the various grades, whether it's aluminium, just like your cans, or if it's steel or iron, just like any general metal item.
Yeah, and I think you'll all want to know as well, do you get gold?
There have been a couple of bits of jewellery found, not too many though, but
right.
if we can, we always try and return it to its rightful owner.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, I think this is a great time to ask you a final question as well, which is a huge question for all of you to answer. And that is, we're all really worried about the planet and what we can do to make things better. Have you got a recommendation that everybody can do? You watching this at home and in your classroom as well, what would you suggest to people that they can do to make the planet a better place?
I think for me, this is a recycling facility, but it's end of life. So I would say recycle everything that you can. So the batteries, take them out and put them into the right area. For the glass, for the paper, and then what's left, then we can use to produce the energy.
That's a brilliant answer. Siobhan?
Yeah, so obviously energy recovery is great, but thinking back to that hierarchy, actually it would be great if we can get more reuse and repair going. So things like Sally-Ann and I earlier had our coffee cups and our drinks bottles, but also thinking more than that, just because your jeans have got a hole in them, what else could you do with them? Maybe turn them into a pair of shorts, trying to reuse those items in innovative ways.
Oz?
And for myself, you've seen we've got a lot of people who work on site, and as we've mentioned, a lot of people who work all over the UK for SUEZ, but we're always looking to grow, and we need to find the people to lead us in the future. So we need people who want to develop green skills, and if it's something that you're interested in, coming to work for a company, SUEZ can really help to drive that forward and help us to turn all waste into the circular economy.
Now, well, there's 3 really good bits of advice, and I've got a tip too. If you've got litter, don't forget to put it in the bin. Now, you can join us for more lessons on stemlive.co.uk, and there's loads on there to have a look at as well that we've already done, and what we're going to be doing in the future, because our next lesson is going to be coming from the Linnean Society in London. Now, I'm afraid it's time for us to say goodbye to all of you. Thank you for an amazing day looking around the facility here at SUEZ. We really have enjoyed ourselves. So I think it's time to say goodbye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.